Hi there guys, welcome back to another episode of Pillars of Eternity to Deadfire. It looks like we are closing in on Aethys. So we are on Ukaizo now. This is the last map. When I came here, it did tell me that this is a point of no return. Sadly, this quest was glitched, so I couldn't do it. This one, I couldn't convince them not to kill each other, and I am not gonna kill these guys. And this one, I cannot get that thing killed. There's a huge beastie, and I can't get it killed. It's beyond my capabilities. Further, everything else is done except for these. I finished the expansion, and then when I went to go back to turn these in, I couldn't anymore. These had to be done before I finished the expansion, so I can't finish these 3 quests. Okay, so that leaves us with only this, as I have done everything else. So let's see what's waiting for us in Ukaizo. Probably gonna be one mean-ass fight against these 2 guys. Yeah, as I thought.
Well, if you insist.
Can't whack him any harder.
Before you get hit immediately. Go.
Shall we begin?
So they're not too hectic. He's not going into his what's his name, Ukaizo. They're not going into his shark form anymore because I removed his AI, his aggressive AI. So he's mostly passive, so he'll cast passive and healing skills and things like that unless I tell him otherwise. So if I tell him, oh, I like this, everything's going legendary now. If I force him to... Do I never take these things? Oh, I did. Okay. Okay. This is legendary. That's done. I think this is completely done. Frost Seeker. Yes. Why? Okay, I need Pyrite for his weapon. Choti. Armor is legendary. Okay, these are done. Her bow, legendary. Elias, okay, no. Aloth, I think you still need to go superb. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. I think this one is the same. It's legendary. There we go. Ukaizo. Yeah, your stuff can't be mounted anymore.
What say? That will do, I say.
Spoiler debris hums with ancient power. Master, I didn't think that they will end the game in Ukaizo. That's something I never thought of. I thought, what is this? Why, dude? Just hanging here for some reason. Hang in there, my dude. It's almost over. So there's Ondra's spire. Oh my god. This is actually pretty cool. Coming to Ukaizo after spending the whole game trying to find it. On side quests. Is all small.
Hope you got a way of turning off that storm. Looks unfriendly. Mean-spirited, even.
The furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You call the last time you encounter a Bayawak. It feels a lifetime ago. Turn to your companions. So here we are. You look to those who accompanied you this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. How are you feeling, Lydia? Lydia gaze wanders among glinting archways and half-collapsed spires. It's not
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place really is gilded. Might as well be a different world.
Missed a simple life?
Well, hard to miss what you can barely remember. All I know is my life took a turn when this world came stomping into mine. These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
The problems are kid problems, both civilizations different as they are agreed something had to be done.
Now here we are, with Aethys trying to undo the whole thing. You know, I broke a wheel once too. First thing I thought of when we learned what Aethys was doing. My mom had this spinning wheel, and she loved it. Well, I was playing with it in the way a young child might when his parents are out, and that wheel came right off. It wouldn't go back into place, so I pushed it harder, and pretty soon I'd broken off a spoke. Broke off 3 more trying to fix that. Anyway, I got whipped pretty good for it. That wheel was never the same, even after my dad fixed it. I used to think of the gods as being like parents to all of us. And now I know better. They're children, playing while their folks are gone.
Still looking thoughtful, Aloth. Aloth looks at the sprawling ancient city.
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in Sun and Shadow. But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Eora. Good. I know you'll choose wisely. And no matter what happens, it's been an honor journeying with you. Again.
We gonna do this or what? We've made it this far, yet we're still alive. Might as well square off with my god before our luck runs dry.
It doesn't answer for long. I said the second one where I asked her if it doesn't matter what happened with Aethys, that she still have my back. She doesn't answer for so long that you think she's not going to, then she taps a bloodstained skull against her thigh.
Sure do. If Gone wants you dead, I figure he can do it himself. Besides, the part of him that's been stomping through the Deadfire didn't much help me at Malgren's teeth. Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn? Reckon it was. Sure, I did some things I now regret. God knows I got plenty of blood on my hands. I thought it'd be different how it turned out, but I couldn't dream of any other way. Now then, shall we go face my God for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive. Consider me your second shadow.
We are Ukaizo. How does it feel?
I am thinking that Eothas has come this far, and he will not wait on you before he finishes what he started. If he shatters what is sat in the heart of Ukaizo, this action will ripple beyond the Deadfire, beyond life as we know it. I will make sure that what we find here goes toward the Huana cause. The Crown's faith in Ngati's chosen will be justified.
He turns to face around, struggling to take in everything at
The
once.
land of my mothers, as real as anything that rises up from the bed of the sea. Also, smaller than I expected. This should be as interesting as the last time I confronted a god-possessed Adra Colossus. Captain, I am my mother's son. I have seen things you would not believe. What say? Shall we find him, Captain?
I think we're as ready as we can be. Let's go. What's down? Nothing. Want some loot down? No. The thunder engraving reads in memory of the Mutapu to come on Ngati's first chosen. It's your brothers. Ondra's spire. I think that's the Engwithan. It's probably the thing that Theos built. Theos X Arcanauts. I think it's Theos. Can be wrong. Doubt it, but possible. Though the device atop the tower spins in a wild, blurring revolution, the air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which is cordoned of Ondra's mortar from the rest of Eora for thousands of years. You've seen an anti-control panel, its leaders engage in positions of activation. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Eothas rears back. He's first to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has withered with a millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. The activated machine. You grip the largest lever and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of machinery gradually slows the turbulent winds grow calm. Come on, Eothas. Come at me, bro. Okay, that's that gone.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Ondra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell.
Oh, here we go again.
The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
I'm fighting Bareth.
I would think you a fool, were you not? Change unsettles, and not even the gods are immune to fear. Soon you will confront Eothas for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back, and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
I think Bereth is actually the most humble of all of them. She is the goddess of death or whatever, but she's actually quite dark. But in the end, she actually wants the best for Eora, if you see how she does everything.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Eothas thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was in trusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
Coddled children learn nothing that is not spoon-fed to them. With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Aethys' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Aethys' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Aethys wouldn't do this if he didn't agree with you. Maybe we're not doomed after all.
And yet you come to Ukaizo with only the Huana at your back. All that Kith stand to lose. And even then, your leaders could not join hands, squabbling instead over prestige and resources. You believe that will change when my final death comes calling? You are a greater fool than I thought. Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Knight returns, She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
I'm gonna say number 4. Things are fine as they are. If we can't stop Earthers from destroying the wheel, we should only rebuild it as it was.
There is safety in the familiar, yes. But I would caution against hewing to it all the same. The opportunity to effect change on this scale is one that will not come again. Not in your lifetime, or in many thousands of lifetimes hence. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and I know you desire to be free of it. You will be in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to banish it to Braith Aemon. You gave him the justice you believed he deserved. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Aethys now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
The gods depart one by one in brooding silence. A solitary figure remains perfectly still until the last of her colleagues is out of earshot. Boudica peers down at you, a triumphant grin splitting her weathered features.
Gareth is a fool if she thinks I'll let her enjoy the last word. You were trusted with a heavy responsibility, Watcher. Speaking for mortals, and representing their interests in the future to come. You weren't wrong to trust the Huana. They built their society to last, but that hasn't stopped their tribes from buckling under the pressure of foreign occupation. How many of her people did Queen Onakaza imperil while she placated her enemies? How close did her simpleton brother come to drawing his weapon at every negotiation? Then there's the deplorable incident at the Powder House. And yet, they have earned your confidence in a gamble that could decide the fate of all mortals. Why is that? Consider my curiosity appeased. For now, in our grandest plans, you are a singularly unpredictable variable. You play a dangerous game by investing your hope in others. Deception and failure are woven into the fabric of mortals. I can safely promise that they will disappoint you before long. Whether you heeded my wisdom or not, everything you've done to get this far has informed our view of mortal kind. I hope you're satisfied with your performance. We've learned much from each other. Nothing could convince me that mortals are equipped to steward their future. Your efforts to prove me wrong were admirable, and my detractors will likely use your example to oppose my rule. The Huana may reign over this archipelago for now, but Eora is vaster than they know. A difficult road lies ahead of me. Your alliances have made proving my argument an uphill battle. Well done, I suppose. Aethys will no doubt have a sunnier outlook on mortals and their chances of success. He already has everything he wants, so go and listen to his empty-headed idealism. The rest of us will be sharpening our blades, preparing for the future he lays out for us.
Finally. Oh, look at that big boy. Big boy! Consciousness returns to the wave at the last of the energy machine dissipates. The calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you, like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Aethys raising his fist in triumph and purpose.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Aethys has ended the world.
It seems we're all still here.
Do not touch the machine again, I say. The delicate fish can only take so much.
Gods and darnation. My head.
Bring over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. An iron-studded warship has dropped anchor in the shallows, the cannons angle to the shore. The ship is nearly cracked in half, but a standard of the Royal Deadfire Company persists in flapping with the breeze. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone in Ukaizo. If ever there was a place for the final standoff, it's Ukaizo. I should have killed them. Not the Valeras, or whichever one is the Royal Deadfire Company. These people are so hungry for Ukaizo that they're not realizing what's actually happening. Oh, there's Maya. Otsuru trudges toward you. He looks tired and haggard, and his robes are rumpled and torn, but he doesn't seem to notice any of this. He is focusing.
So, it ends like this. Rauatai will accomplish wonders with this place. It is a shame you won't be a part of them.
Ukaizo belongs to the Wana.
It once did. Now it is ours to take.
Somehow it always ends in bloodshed.
First, cast a spell. I want you to cast that here. Jyoti will do a thing. You can cast that.
Found it!
There we go.
It usually works.
Too difficult.
Maya, you took the wrong team. Makes oh, it's not Maya. I don't think Maya will stand against us, to be honest. I just saw the birdie. When I saw the birdie, I was like, oh, satellite, that's Maya. Okay, that's the Royal Deadfire Company. I'm sure the alien trading company is gonna be here in some way. Okay. No. 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 Don't do it. There we go.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the gods' great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Ondra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Ondra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms. An immense Engwithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Ondra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Ondra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine.
This is the wheel.
The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Ondra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous, rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Garden each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
Can all of that beauty and life return to this place, Mighty One? Has the future of my people awaited them here?
Lost Ukaizo remains only in name, Tekehu. It is a name as barren as this city. If future generations wish to create life in this place, they must look forward as much as they look back.
This isn't right. You can't put this burden on us. You can't make the gods' problems our problems, our responsibility to fix. How can you have faith that what you're doing is good? You know how many people are going to suffer because of this. No matter how you spin this, you can't set it straight.
Adair, I wish I could explain it to you. It breaks my heart that I cannot. But no matter how much you curse me, do not despair. The souls of this world will need people like you. Lights burning brightly in the darkness to come.
Gon, please, I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living? To improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers. Women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem. They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi.
people who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world in a time of fear and desperation. Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. Provide comfort to all who need it.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel? And you believe I should give my strength to one of them? I am certain Boudica has convinced you of this course. Why do you believe I should give this power, which we have used so irresponsibly for so long, to any of them? It is true. We created ourselves as equals, even if Boudica did create a story about her past to elevate her own glory. You have convinced me, Watcher. The gods do need a strong leader. I will ensure they have one after I am gone. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes. You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears. All the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable. I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be.
I'll be back in a second, guys. I'm just gonna close the one door. It's slamming shut. I ought back.
What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation? I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Before this is over, this might involve a question.
Ask. You are entitled to any answer that is mine to give.
What happens after the wheel breaks?
The great work of the Engwithans falls to ruin. Reincarnation as we know it will end. Souls which currently await new life in the beyond will be born into the world as normal, but their numbers will not replenish. Anything that dies will tarry in the void of the in-between, awaiting the motion of a wheel that no longer turns. Once the beyond has emptied, every birth will be hollow-born. Other maladies of the soul may follow, and plague those who linger in life. Unless mortals work together to carve a new path, the essence of life will be trapped in the netherworld. Gods will starve. Eora will grow silent and cold. A generation or more. That much essence is already poised to flow into Eora. But unlike an hourglass, no amount of turning will compel the sand to reverse its course. Should you choose, you could lay down your burden and trust in your children's children to set matters right. That depends entirely on you. By your reckoning, there are still good years to come. By ours, time is short. When we tamed the cycle of reincarnation, we broke what had once functioned naturally and without intervention. The flow of essence will not normalize on its own. Essence will simply pool in the void of the in-between, never passing through Ondra networks to the beyond. The dead will be left to wander in darkness, confusion, and sorrow. Yes, they must work toward a solution or perish. If that task is beyond their skill, then they no longer deserve their position. I would have them justify their right to lead. That could mean swallowing their pride and hearkening to the wisdom of mortals. Some, I expect, will perform better than others. No one is worthy of unconditional trust. If you feel the gods are beyond forgiveness, then they don't deserve your obedience. Make your future one that doesn't require them. Should you choose to accept the gods, I hope that you temper your faith with skepticism. Woodica is entitled to her opinion. If the intent of this test is to justify an uprising to come, that is more worrisome. The other gods must decide for themselves if mortals are ready to dictate their future. Should Woodica's tyranny prove the only alternative, mortals must prepare for a terrible conflict. Your perspective bridges eternity, Watcher. Many will look to you to mediate differences that could shake the very foundations of Eora. For several reasons. My strength was diminished after the Godhammer bomb, and assuming this form took incredible effort. With so many vying for control of the Deadfire, I also saw a ripe opportunity for mortals to cast aside their differences and stand together as one. They have never been more powerful, more capable. Because of this, the gods must justify their importance or be proven obsolete. I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Eothas' words entered your mind than you hear your one final distant ring of a chime within you in silence. The knot that formed with the Pallid Knight first addressed you in the beyond is now
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Ondra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Ondra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Ondra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Ondra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes. As Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley, your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Ondra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Aethys channels his essence into Bareth, empowering the god of doors, cycles, and life and death beyond all other gods. Bareth vows to maintain peace and order in the here and the beyond, while Kith labor toward a solution. The other gods, for the time being, submit.
I like that choice.
Under Bareth's guidance, the world becomes a more predictable, stable place. Seasons fall into a disturbingly regular rhythm, and wars, famines, and natural disasters dwindle. But so too do surges of prosperity and innovation. Great minds around the world work methodically towards salvation, both unhindered and uninspired by changes, upheavals, and the unexpected. Reclaiming Ukaizo is both a symbolic and a practical victory for the Huana. The ancient city is a potent reminder of their people's ancient glory, and it promises to be a much more easily defensible capital, especially with the storm controls of Ondra's spire close at hand. The other tribes unite under the Kahanga and dedicate themselves to rebuilding Ukaizo and relearning its secrets. The Valian Trading Company continues its operations in Deadfire, though it is forced to renegotiate many of its contracts with the newly empowered Huana Crown. Company leadership finds that the new terms are much more favorable to the tribes than to their own interests in the region. Due to these changes, the Valian Trading Company eventually withdraws most of its people from Deadfire.
Good.
The Royal Deadfire Company is expelled from the archipelago as punishment for their attack at Ondra's mortar. The storms across the Rauatayan mainland subside along with those of Ondra's mortar. However, Rauatai regards this respite with a wary eye. ever mindful that the machinery at Ondra's spire remains under their foes' control. The Juana settlement of Ukaizo reignites Ferrante's dream of a new Valian empire. Deadfire is claimed and controlled, but the clearing of Ondra's mortar offers the possibility of new prospects in yet undiscovered lands. He leads the old Valian loyalists across the sea, searching still for a new Valian homeland.
Well done, Ferrante. So he's not just a pirate, he just wants a better life for his people.
The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other.
How did that happen? I didn't do that.
By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back. The conflict eventually draws the attention of Queen Onikaza, who sends a contingent of warriors to drive the remaining Valians from the island. Port Mage becomes a cautionary tale for outsiders who would abuse the hospitality of the Juana tribes.
It was Maya that stirred that up.
As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. Though the Kahanga monarchy moves its new seat of government to Ukaizo, Nekataka continues to be a busy and important city. The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the Gullet starts to improve. What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu. Ukaizo reveals more about the ancient art of water shaping than the guild could have hoped to learn in another century of work. With this new knowledge, water shapers across the archipelago wield the currents and bend the waves for the pleasure and benefit of the new Juana nation. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. He comes to recognize his nightmares and the scene at Hisango as Aethys' final warning to his people. Unite in strength and faith, or perish forever. As word of Aethys' deeds at Ukaizo spreads, his fellow Dawnstars take this message to heart.
I can't even remember who that guy is.
As Aethys pours his essence into Bareth, so too do the children of the Dawnstars pour their faith into the god of doors and cycles, life and death. Some pray for guidance and order. Others take it upon themselves to enforce it. They sharpen their scythes and sickles to defend the peace they have been granted. They failed Aethys before. They will not fail Bareth now. Ruanu, the chieftain of the Juana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village. The leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others seek out the Wahaki. The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Eora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within. Vatnir tries to hold the Harbingers of Dusk together, and for a time, succeeds. The group resettles within and around the temple, vowing to protect it. Eventually, however, Remergon's godlike falters, and his followers sacrifice him to the White Void. The Temple of Remergon falls into disrepair, home only to madmen and monsters. In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions. Once repaired, the Audra at the primal island of Kazuwari again pulses with the flow of soul essence between the here and the beyond. the feral life on the island flourishes. The jungles and veld growing ever wilder and resistant to settlement and exploration alike. The faces of the hunt continue to rule the Crucible and Galawain's, or rather, Tawamawai's name. The trials summoned by the statue grow deadlier with each season, until only those rare few willing to brave the gravest of dangers seek out the bloody ordeals of Kazuari. Like the other souls following in your wake, Muatu eventually yearns to move on to the Beyond and the Wheel. Stymied by Aethys' actions, however, he settles on returning to Kazuari, where he joins the choir of souls that echo throughout the Crucible. Hundreds of Kith, and no small number of Wilder and Primordials, flee from the Black Isle, their minds a confused collection of inconsistent and contradictory memories. Each escapee bears knowledge that was once lost, and agents of the Hand Occult across Eora worked tirelessly in the years that followed to hunt down and end these fugitives. They find far fewer than they hope. Released from their bondage to the sightless eye, the Vithrak of the Halls Obscured abandon the Black Isle and resettle in the deepest and darkest recesses of the ruins beneath Nekataka. Sisak and his colony remain secretive and isolated, however, rarely interacting with those Kith crawling about in the sunlight above. Slain by your hand, the Titan of Wal poses little further threat to Eora. As the corpse decays, it putrefies into a massive nest of hungry fungal monstrosities. Vessels that anchor off the shores of the Black Isles tend to go missing, only to turn up shipwrecked months or even years later against distant shores. With time, the body collapses upon itself, and the Black Isles finally implode. Infrequent but persistent rumors speak of an island overrun by primordial spore creatures, and ruled by a roughly Kith-shaped entity, more fungus than not. A creature well practiced at the most potent wizardry. No sailor or explorer, however, can furnish reliable charts to this fabled Isle of Decay. Though your adventures alter the destiny of Eora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hisango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud, and Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times, and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Hands off a deer.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls forgone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawnstars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Neketaka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you." Though the two of you no longer travel together, Shodi holds fast to the memory of you in her heart, remaining your fierce and doting girlfriend, faithful even in her absence. You receive a missive for every day apart, though they often arrive in a single bundle some weeks or months past. In them, she writes of how she misses you, how you are like a fire that burns inside her, how one day surely you will be reunited again. Until then, she prays for your safety as she continues to labor in service to God. Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Rimaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphon seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. When he leaves, he does so with little fanfare. Nothing but a roughly scrawled note slipped under your door. "Be seeing you, Cap." You hear of Seraphon from time to time, in rumors and sea tales. He prowls the Deadfire, a brutally efficient killer, never long for any ship and never close to any crew. After reporting back to her superiors for the Watcher's actions against the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is rewarded with reassignment home to the Valian Republics. She spends the next several years as the head of the household guard for the Duke of Ancenze. In this role, she is often lauded for her courage and loyalty. Even with all of the praise, there are still times when she cannot help but feel she could have had more influence on what transpired in the Deadfire.
Shouldn't have left.
Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly, and even meeting with the old Animencer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers, and even the dukes themselves, note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile. Pleased with the Navy's conduct throughout the Deadfire campaign, Maya returns to active duty. She can find a free drink and a sharp salute anywhere she goes in Rawatayan territory. In recognition of her performance, the Navy attempts to give Maya less strenuous work. She flatly refuses, throwing herself into the fray whenever she can. Her rifle never has time to cool.
It's my rifle.
Though Maya's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. The discovery of Ukaizo doesn't bring Takehu the answers that he sought, but this proves only a minor setback. Merely knowing that Ngati's chosen landed on the island ignites something in the Huana tribes, a fervent desire to recover the past and let history illuminate the way forward. Takehu rides this momentum, leading by example and teaching his people to rely on each other instead of on omens. His message is an upheaval of norms, but it's as embraced and beloved as he is. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back, The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Ondra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
So no matter what you do, the wheel gets destroyed. You can't prevent that from happening, by the looks of it. Awesome. Anyway, guys, that is Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. So we have both 1 and 2 now on the channel. I will not be doing Avowed just yet. Watching how my PC is struggling with the frames on this thing, I'm not sure I'll be able to record Avowed. I would need a bit of an upgrade. I am returning to Dragon Age, so hopefully I will see you guys in my Dragon Age playthrough. Thank you for watching the Pillars of Eternity 2 playthrough. Have a fantastic day, guys.